You are tuned in live to episode 4 of the Spots We Miss podcast and live talk with your host, Nikita Nicole. Today we're talking about who's on your task force. Also, we have your weekly pandemic report. Great news. You can now access all of our platforms in one place. Just click the link in the description box and you'll have access to our blog and our podcast. Get ready for real talk, real ideas, and real love. You're tuned in to the Spots We Miss.
Everybody. Good to see you today, and thank you for tuning in to the Spots We Miss podcast and live talk. I am Nikita Nicole. So since last week, I put a lot of thought into what I wanted to talk about this week. And if you tuned in last week, you know we talked about forgiving yourself and what that means. And we even gave examples and some scenarios about how we don't forgive ourselves. And when we talk about, forgiving ourselves and how that works in our lives, we really need strong people around us to help us. And it just got me to thinking, like, who's on your spiritual task force? And I want to say maybe it was last week. My sissy, I call her my sissy, Kimmy, she sent me a video and she said, "This is us." And the video was of a one. It was of like a race, like where you pass the baton, and once they get the baton, they go and take off. And when I saw it, I was speechless. I was like, this is like, oh my God, this is who I need on my team. We need people on our team that we can say, okay, I'm passing the baton to you, and boom, you run with it. And it was just so powerful seeing that video. And I just thought, wow, these are the people that you want on your team. And what is a task force made of? It's made of people that come together for a specific purpose and planning how to bring something about. And I mean, I think about the people in my family. My family is my task force. My my family is my task force, my prayer partners. My mother is probably not probably, my mom is number one on my task force. And when I think about how she comes to my rescue, when I think about if something is wrong, she's concerned, she's praying for me. And that is everything. To have that is everything. And if a person doesn't have that, they they're at a loss if they don't have that. And I wish and pray that everyone would have someone on their team who just rides for them until the very end, until the wheels fall off, literally. And so when I think about even my cousins, how that, whenever it's a problem or whenever something goes down, we're coming together for prayer. What This is what you need to do. This is what we can do for now. We're coming together with ideas. We're talking about resources. We're talking about whatever it takes. And I've been so fortunate to have a good task force, and that's my team. And we do the hashtag goals, couple goals, friendship goals, and you know I can totally and personally relate to that. Then there's the other task force, or team of marriage, friendship, uh, marriage specifically, because that is a partnership. That is that is the goal, that most people want, is marriage goals. And so when you are in a partnership with someone, the goal is the same. When you go into it, the goal is the same. So you're really talking about oneness. You're really talking about somebody who is on the same page with you at all times. And if that person then is not on the same page, then you kind of like out of agreement. And so I just was thinking about all kinds of relationships. And but the relationship that I know about mostly is the one that I've had with friends. I've had some awesome friendships that I have friends right now that pray for me, that are thinking good thoughts about me and want the best for me, but also when it's time to go into battle, they're also there for me too. If if I say, hey, this is something that I'm battling, or this is something that I'm going through, and I need some support here, or I need some prayer here, I actually have people that I can call on. And so I'm so very grateful for that. And I want to show, let me see if I can, I'm going to share my screen here because I want you guys to see the video. I posted it on my Facebook page this week, and here it is right here. So hold on, let me stream. Hold on one second, guys. I wonder if I can share it here. I just want to share my page real quick so you can see the video that I posted. There it goes. Yay, I found it. All right, guys. I'm playing it now. I'm playing it again for you guys. And literally every time that I see that, every time I see that video, it gives me chills. Like, I'm like, that was just so powerful. And I think what made that video so powerful for me was that the young woman who had the baton, who passed it, there was so much skill with that because I told my mom, I said, so really, this athlete, this runner, was just kind of like just chilling, just running. You know what I mean? Like, but not as fast as she could run, but really in skill, because it was like, okay, I'm just kind of running. I'm not running as fast as I can, but I'm going to run just enough to catch up to her. And then the one that actually got the baton, she was the one that was like, okay, I'm just chilling, waiting, just waiting. And then she takes that baton, passes it to her, and she just takes off. And I was like, wow, like that was just, man, I got so excited when I saw that because I was like, yeah, that's what I need. And that's what I have, thank God. But I know that there are many people that in relationships, they've been betrayed, or they feel like, this relationship is not giving me what I need, or this friendship is not giving me what I need, or this I've been in a situation where I've been, betrayed by someone who should have been close to me. And when I think about that video, I think about people in your life for a reason, for a purpose, and who has your back, and someone that you trust that can take that baton, run with it, and you really know that they're going to finish strong and finish in the end. And so that to me was amazing. And so I just hope that uh, people who are either following me or, watching me, that uh, you guys look for those relationships. And it's important for us to be friends to people. It's so important for us to be be a friend, and not just by name, but just be a friend to your family members. I think sometimes with family members, we think that because it's our family member, that, oh, well, this is my family member, so, but even if it's your family member, figure out how to be a friend to your family member, you know, to someone who's automatically connected to you regardless. Think about how to be a friend to them. How can I be what can I do that would be a friend to them instead of just being a family member? Because I think we have certain expectations. What's my family? I don't really have to, respect boundaries, or it's my family member, so I don't really have to do this. But I think in every area of our lives, um, we should seek to be friends in all of our relationships. Because see, I don't I don't I don't want to just have a good friend. I want to be a good friend. I don't want to just have someone that I can rely on whenever I need them, and tap that resource and tap that resource and tap that resource. I don't want to just be that. I want to be a resource that someone can tap. I want to be someone that a person says, "Well, you know what? I can call her," or I know she's going to help me. I know that she's going to be there for me. That's what I want to be. I don't want to just tap out my resources to people who are just like, you know what, she's tapped me dry. I want to be someone that can be depended on, relied on, and someone that people can actually trust. And so, who's on your task force is just as important as whose task force you're on, and who relies on you, or who knows that you are a solid resource, who knows that you are a solid that they have a solid friendship with you, or can rely on you and call on you. And so for me, that's also really, really important. And so I said to my mom, I said, I said, at first I said, well, I literally want to, like, have an event where we have all of our tactical gear on, and, our camouflage shirts and bandanas or whatever. And just have an event like that where we're just all there and passing the baton to one another, and just friendship, overall friendship. I said I wanted to do something like that because I just think that that's so important. And I have so many friendships, just my friendships that I developed over on social media. Maybe I knew them in school and then we reconnected, and we follow each other. But I have so many relationships and friendships that they're not the closest friendships. I don't see them every day or every week or whatever, but I'm sure that they think well of me and I think well of them. And so even those relationships is so important. And so recently I've said, "Hi Deb, I just saw you on there. Thanks for tuning in." But recently I said, I want to support my friends on social media even better. Because sometimes we're so busy posting what we post that we don't think to like someone else's post or comment on someone else's post. But I was like, I even want to be a a better support to people on social media, because I think that if we practice being a force for someone, if we practice being friends and doing things that supportive friends do, I think if we practice that, I think that we'll be more of that even in our personal day to day, one on one relationships. And so I just thought to myself, I said, this just that video, it just made me think of everything about friendships. And I'm like, these girls, they were just running. I don't think that they would have thought they would made an impact like that. But just to see that video and just to see, like, just that camaraderie, I was just like, that is so powerful and so impactful. I also saw another video. Well, actually, I was watching something on TV, and the guy said something so poignant. And I was like, ah. And I thought to myself, what do people let me see, hold on. Am I still sharing? Hold on. I was trying to see if I was still sharing. Okay. Hope you guys can see me still. I was getting a little message. But I saw this I saw this video, and I was thinking to myself when I saw the video, I said, this is kind of powerful. And it has to do with relationships, but specifically marriage. And it's this couple on Love and Marriage Huntsville. And he said something so important to me. And I thought about, because I think marriage is the ultimate task force. I think that is the ultimate partnership. I think it's the ultimate relationship. And I think it is the partnership where people have to be on the same page all of the time. And that to me is a challenge. It's not easy. And I think we always say, as single women, I'm speaking from a single woman's perspective, as single women, we always say that we want marriage. And sometimes I wonder, do we like the idea of marriage, but not necessarily, but we really don't understand what it really entails and what it really involves, and how much of yourself that, you know, is is involved in it. And not just how much of yourself, but how much of yourself do you have to kind of, you know, put on the back burner sometimes, because you're coming and you're becoming one with a person. And so when you're becoming one with someone, and listen, I will be the first person to tell you that I don't believe in trying to counsel or talk people through marriage, because I've never been married. So I only have insight, general insight to something that is very personal, and that only the people that are in marriage really know about. But I pay attention and I hear a lot. And what I hear is that men are saying that, you know, if you wanted to be single, then you should not have gotten to marriage, or maybe that woman shouldn't have pressured that man to get into marriage if that woman didn't want to fulfill some of the things that marriage involves, right? And so I was looking at this episode last night on Love and Marriage Huntsville, and this was from, I want to say, maybe their last season. But I want to share with you guys what he said, and then I want to know what you guys think about this, because I couldn't find one lie. I could not find one lie in what this guy says. So hold on, guys. I'm going to see if I can share it. Yes, Deb, I agree that relationships are the cornerstone of our well being, and they're very important. And most of us don't want real marriage. We want the idea. I agree with that. And I'm a woman. And I think to myself, like, we can't always look at the man and be like, he's chauvinistic, or, we can't always look at them like that. We have to look at truth, and we have to look at, maybe check ourselves sometime. But let me see if I can show this video, you guys, and tell me what you think about it. Hold on, here it is.
You know what's really funny?
Hold on, let me move myself.
Funny? You know what's really funny about this? You can take this however you want to take it, but in 2015 you say I'm losing me and I gotta focus on me. Alright? Listen, there's never a time where I'm like, I gotta focus on me. When I have a stay-at-home wife, you know what that means? That means every single dime that comes in my check goes to my family. Everything. Right?
Right.
That's not me doing me. That's me doing what needs to be done for the family. And so when you make these things like, I lost myself, baby, we lose ourselves. You know why? Because we lost half of ourselves to be together. That's what marriage is about. It's about two people becoming one. But you have to give up part of who you are. And if your goal is to get that back, you're going to get it back outside of marriage.
So I hope you guys were able to hear that and see that really well. But what happened in that episode was a mother of three, and she was saying that, you know, she had kids and kind of had them back to back, and she felt like she had lost a part of herself. And she was saying that you know, she wanted to get herself back. And she's a stay-at-home mom. They have a very traditional relationship in the sense that he believes that, you know, in her staying home, and he goes out and gets it and brings it home. You know, she cooks a dinner, she cooks a breakfast. They have a very traditional marriage. And some people would look at their marriage and be like, not me. I'm not staying at home. I'm not going to be barefoot in the kitchen cooking and pregnant. For some people, they can't even get with that idea. But this is what I saw in the relationship. She agreed to that. She agreed that she would stay home and raise the kids, and she agreed that 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 would be their life, you know. And so when you have a couple that agrees to that very traditional sense of marriage, then you might not agree with it, but you have to accept that that's the life that they have and the life that they agreed to. And so this brings me to my next thing. A lot of people believe that the guy, his name is Marsau, a lot of people believe that he is chauvinistic, that he is a male chauvinist. And he does say he does make some remarks, and he says some things. And you know, you might be like this, huh? But that's how he is. She knew this when she got with him. But what I noticed was there were people on the same show that were saying things, and they were saying things, and I feel like she was allowing what they were saying to rub off on her. And I was thinking to myself, baby girl, don't let these women tell you how it's done in your house. I don't care if how it's done in your house, a lot of people aren't doing it. This is what you agreed to before you came on this show. Don't let somebody else give you their blueprint. Their blueprint might not work for your family, and it might not work for your house. And so that video was him saying, look, and I want to play it again, guys, because hold on, I got to play it one more time, because when he said it, I was like, okay, like you better preach in this place, because this, to me, he was completely and 100%, I think, in what he said, correct. I'm going to play it one more time, guys. Hold on.
Funny? You know what's really funny about this? You can take this however you want to take it, but in 2015, you said,
take it up, and I'm going to take my
funny? You know what's really funny about this? You can take this however you want to take it, but in 2015, you say, I'm losing me and I got to focus on me, all right? Listen, there's never a time where I'm like, I got to focus on me. When I have a stay-at-home wife, you know what that means? That means every single dime that comes in my check goes to my family. Everything. Right? Right. That's not me doing me. That's me doing what needs to be done for the family. And so when you make these things like, I lost myself, babe, we lose ourselves. You know why? Because we lost half of ourselves to be together. That's what marriage is about. It's about two people becoming one. But you have to give up part of who you are. And if your goal is to get that back, you're going to get it back outside of marriage.
You're going to get it back outside of marriage. And that's what I thought was really, really, really important. Like, if I think that, you know, and again, I'm not married, but I'm talking about a task force, when you and that person are a partnership, and you come in with the understanding. You come in with the understanding. You guys both have the understanding of what this partnership involves, what this partnership entails. And then, you get around a couple of, girls, and then they start, well, let me give you the blueprint. She can't give you the blueprint. You and him already had a discussion. You are in agreement with someone else. And I just think that, women, we have to be careful about that, because as he stated, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, and I know a lot of people probably might not agree with this, because you have people, they have this attitude that I can have it all in marriage. I can have the successful career. I can have the children. I can have the husband. I can have all of this. But what ends up happening is, when that woman is going and seeking all of everything, somebody's going to lack. Somebody's going to lack. And I think that we see a lot of stuff happen on television, and we see a lot of stuff on reality TV shows, and we see these women running after their businesses, and they got husbands and stuff like that. Well, we also might not understand that sometimes these women have help with these kids. You know what I mean? To help them. And they have, some of these people have nannies and stuff. Like, it's just not realistic to try to think you can do it all and someone's not going to lack. And so you see him throughout this episode and throughout the season, you see him, making faces. And people are thinking, oh, he's just chauvinistic. Oh, he's just this, or he doesn't want her to do this. And he's like, oh, it's not that I don't want you to do this, but we did have this agreement, and this is what I'm used to, and this is what you've been doing before you started this show. Before you came on TV, you were fixing my plate. You were making sure dinner was ready when I got home, and all of this. And then, you got on this show, and you see other women, and you're like, well, I should be able to have my own career or have my own things. And he's like, well, I really don't have a problem with that, but what do we talk about? And so when I saw that, it just really hit me. And I said, it's a lot of women that probably would not agree with his way of life, with his way of, living in their whole dynamic that they have in their family. Other people would be like, well, that wouldn't work for me. But that's something that they agreed on. And that is something that was actually going down before that episode. And so to think about having a task force, when you are on a task force, and I'm saying that I'm using task force as team, like a team, a couple, or a friendship or relationship, you really have to stay on task of that friendship. You can't expect, like, I can't, if my friendship with someone is based on the commonalities that we have, or however we came to be friends, I can't then, come and introduce a new way of doing a friendship with you. And you're like, well, I don't really, know you that way. Or, we've never, that we not, venture down this avenue of friendship. Like, you have to stay on course. You have to know the person that you're with and respect the person that you're friends with, and respect that friendship enough to say, you know what, this is not for this person. Like, I have different friends, right? And I may have something, I may have an event, I might have some kind of friendship or some kind of event, or some kind, well, not friendship, but some kind of thing that I'm having, whether it's a get together, whether it's a party. I know which friends are going to want to do this. I know that. Matter of fact, I just remember my past birthday, I had a casino Royale event that I wanted. That was what my little flyer said or whatever, because I wanted to go and do some gaming, but I also wanted to go and eat. Well, I knew exactly of my friends who were not going to the casino with me, and so I was like, I didn't even invite them. I would invite them to eat the dinner part, but I wouldn't invite them to the casino part because some people don't like casinos and like gambling. And I had friends that would not have gone to that with me. So I didn't invite them. So that was me staying with the dynamic of our friendship, respecting their boundaries, understanding, who they are and what they like and what they don't like. And so that also is the same to me in any friendship that you're in, any relationship that you're in, whether it is marriage or just a regular relationship, like a couple, or just a strictly platonic friendship. We have to honor one another and honor people and whatever. So Deb said here, she said, right, don't listen to other women. And I just thought that was like really like serious, because I'm like, this is something you guys were doing before this whole show and everything. So it's going to be very important that you stay on course. Don't go changing things up, whether you changed your mind or not. You know, it was my understanding. I want to say that they said it was a 5-year plan or something. Keep your word, stick it out to that point. But it's not going to be that other person's fault because you changed your mind or you're kind of looking at the situation like, now this doesn't work for me. And so that's another reason why I don't even believe in showing like the whole dynamic of your marriage on TV. I can't agree with that. I just don't understand that. And I don't understand why people, are okay with that, because I personally just feel like, my personal relationship, my personal anything, it just shouldn't be on television. Some of that stuff is just not for TV. But that really stood out to me. And it really struck me because when you come into a partnership, it is with the idea that both people are on the same page. And so that's why I appreciate the people around me. That's why I appreciate the people who are in my life, because we are like-minded people. We respect some of the same things. We believe a lot of the same things, and sometimes that really does help you in relationships, because I mean, life is heavy. Life is life can be like, oh my God, I remember saying to myself, like, God, I want to go back. If I wish I could go back to the day I was born and reverse that. Because, life can be that hard where you just like, oh, I didn't know this was a part of life. But when life does happen, and when those things do happen, when really sticky situations come about and real hairy, annoying, really just things that happen in life, disappointing, hurt, on top of hurt, traumas and things like that. When those things do happen, you want to make sure you have the right people around you. It's going to be so important. And you don't want nobody on your team who's going to change their mind mid stroll. You know what I mean? You want somebody on your team who their mind is the same throughout. They have the same mind throughout, and they are supporting you throughout that relationship. So I really enjoyed that. And I just thought, I said, when people see this, they're probably not going to agree to that, because the other thing that I found interesting about that video, he said, he said, so if you are seeking that, if you are seeking, you know, if you're looking into getting back into you and doing you. He said, you're going to do that outside of marriage. And I thought, that's true. I was like, that is true. Like, if you are married and you're seeking to, do you, then you might be doing you outside of marriage if that's not what you and him agreed on or agreed to. So I saw mom said, choose wisely. Yes, yes, choose wisely because you just don't never know, if you're just out here looking for something. And that's why I say, I wonder if as women who are single, I wonder if we want marriage or do we want the idea of marriage, because it's so much that comes with marriage that nobody, unless you're going to counseling beforehand, nobody's telling you and really mentioning this. You really just get, and then some people are just like really good show pieces. Like they show you the good part, they show you everything that looks to parts, but they're not showing the struggle, because who wants to walk around showing a struggle all the time? A struggle doesn't look good. A struggle doesn't get likes. A struggle, a struggle doesn't get hashtags and all of that stuff. Only the stuff that looks good is what gets the attention. So no one is really coming out showing the hurt or the struggle. They're showing what really looks good. And so people have this idea. And I was looking at what's his name? Little Duval and his wife. They have this really nice bomb podcast that I love to, whenever I get a chance to, I like to look in on what they talk about, because they're always talking about relationships. And one of the things that he said was that he said you wanted to get married. He said, and then he was talking to his wife. He said, you wanted to get married and you wanted monogamy. He said, but then, when it comes to intimacy, you don't want that. He said, but if you didn't want that, because marriage means that you're only with one person, and, but if you didn't want that, then why marriage? And she was saying, well, I got the kids and I'm tired and, I'm doing this and I'm doing that or whatever. And, he was like, but women want this. So it's kind of like a contradiction. Like, you want marriage, but do you really want all the things that comes into it? And she was honest. She was like, she said, I don't know. If I would have known, she said, if I would have known you were so highly sexual, she was like, I probably wouldn't have, got into the, marriage or, advocated for marriage so strongly in the beginning, And so I just think that, I guess what I'm saying is that if we want marriage, we have to be willing to give up some stuff. And we also have to be willing and open to what that entirely involves. And if we have, and I'm going to flip that to friendships. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that if we desire friendships, we should also be friendly. And a lot of times people, they're like, well, I'm not friendly. Okay. But it's true. If we want friendships, then we have to also be friendly. If we want someone to call on, then we also need to be someone that can be called upon. It's kind of one of those things that it's almost like this is what makes the world go round. This is how things continue to consist and go and go and go, because one person is meeting the other person exactly where they are. And that is so important, in relationships. Like, okay, hold on. I believe in friends. I believe in being friends first. That's what seals the task force along with love. I agree too. Mom. Mom said, I believe in being friends first. That's what seals the task force along with love. I agree with that too. In relationships, yeah, for sure. In fact, I don't really know how marriage happens without friendship. I don't know how that happens. And then if it does, then that's just a travesty. That is just awful because I think, and I don't know, but I know most people that want to be in relationships, they want someone who they can be completely 100% themselves with. But our friendships, it's so crazy too, because so crazy how that with our actual friendships, our platonic friends, we are 100% ourselves. Like my girlfriends that I have, they know me, they know exactly how I am. I am 110% of myself with my friends. They know me. They laugh at me at some of the things that I do and say, but they know me. And I'm not ashamed or afraid to be exactly who I am with some of my best girlfriends, right? But when it comes with relationships, we tend to hold back. And, until I guess we have to, with the person that we're with in a relationship, I guess we have to be feeling comfortable with them, or we have to have some kind of something that makes us kind of like let our hair down, or something about that person. For me, something about that guy has to make me feel like, okay, all right, so yeah, I can show him this part of me, and feel like I'll be accepted or whatever. But I think we tend to hold back who we are in relationships, in the romantic, intimate relationships, because it's like, if he sees every part of me, is he still going to be interested? If he sees this part of me, is he still going to, like me in that way or whatever? And so I think we tend to hold back in those instances. But when you get to marriage, you got to have gotten past all that. He's got to have seen you without the weave. He's got to have seen you without the lashes, the all of that. He's got to see you in a completely different way than you might show yourself to the world, because that is that forever thing. And we don't really have problems with that in our, just our regular relationships. And I wonder, because you always hear people say, this person is my best friend. And I almost feel like sometimes that gets thrown. I sometimes feel like, I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. When you hear people saying that their man or their woman is their best friend or whatever, sometimes I'm like, because I watch, especially on these reality TV shows, because then I watch how y'all talk to each other. And like I'm not going to talk to my best friend the way that I hear some of these people talking to one another and the things that they're doing. Like, that's not a best friend. And so I wonder if that's that best friend in relationships is starting to become a cliche. I'm just wondering, because I hear people say it, but then I see, how people treat one another, and I'm just like, you know, is that your best friend? But I hear people say it, and I think that's the ultimate goal in a relationship with the person that you're going to marry. Um, I think that the goal is to be best friends. But I don't know how much that's happening in a lot of these relationships, if people are really and truly best friends. But um, getting back to just friendship and the expectation of friendship, I think that I just think that people have to be prepared to give more of themselves than they probably fully anticipated. I think that if we prepare, whether in any relationship, I think if we prepare to give out more than we probably hope to get back, I think that's the goal. Because a lot of times people, I've never And I don't know why this is, y'all, but I have never agreed with a 50-50 relationship. Never. Because I always think about, what do you call those? Oh my God, what do you call those? Not a discrepancy, but deficiencies. Listen, I've never agreed with a 50-50 relationship because what I found out very early was that life is so happenstance and life is so unpredictable and it's full of ups and downs, to where if you are in a relationship, there is going to be a time where you're going to put in 70 and that person is going to put in 30. And then what do? You go to divorce court because it's not 50-50? I just never have believed in the 50-50 sense of marriage because I know that life happens. And I know that I'm not going to always be my best. And I also know that he's not going to always be his best. And there are going to be times where you're going to put in, it's going to be 60-40, 70-30. But then there will also be times where the other person is doing 60-40 or 70-30. And I feel like if real love is involved, it's going to balance itself out. If you really love that person. Because if you really love someone, you're not going to always allow them to just put in more than you put in. You want to make sure that that person is fulfilled also. But you also understand that life really does happen. And I think that's a part of the task force. Because when we talk about a task force, we talk about planning and preparations. And then when this happens, we're going to do this. And I'm going to put you in place and just in case this happens. And that's what a task force is. A task force, they come to the table and they say, hey, this is what it is. But I also think that in any relationship, you got to get rid of that 50-50 type of thing. Because I'm telling you, if you feel like at some point that some people, if you're a 50-50 person, it's going to be easy for you to be a tit for tat person too. Well, I did this, but you didn't do that. Well, I did this, but you didn't do that. That's not friendship. There are times where I'm going to have to support you when you're flat on your back and you've got nothing to give me back. That's what friendship is. That's what love is. Yes, balance. Balance, Mom. And yes, Deb, life does happen. People get married. Deb says people get married for a lot of reasons. They're not always best friends. It's cliche. So true. Some people get married for security. Some people get married because some people just get married because they believe in marriage before sex, and they just want to go ahead and have some sex and be married to do it. But they didn't think about the commitment, the sacrifice, and all of that. And so getting back to what I was saying, that sometimes I think relationships are not, I said this last week when we were talking about forgive yourself and being worthy. I said this last week, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this, that with relationships, with friendships, the people that I love, it's nothing they can do about it. It's not what they commit. It's not about the percentage that they commit to our friendship. It's the fact that I actually love you as a person. And if you have nothing to contribute, I still love you. I still love what you're about. I still love who you are, even when you have nothing to contribute. And so that's why I think that relationships can't be 50-50, because I think that those situations clearly and quickly turn into tit for tat. And what I don't want to do with anyone who I love, with anyone who I'm with, I don't want to talk about, well, I did this and you didn't do that, or you did this and I didn't do that. I just cannot have that type of ongoing conversation throughout my relationship or my marriage with anyone, because I just think that that's just awful. And I just wouldn't want to do that. And so I really just think that it's very important to in relationships to have a full on expectation. Even listen, even friendships. I would tell someone that, listen, and I don't really have any new friends, really. Like, the friends that I have, I've had them for a long time. But if I did come and have a new friendship, I would definitely let them know, like, I've had some friendships that really went sour, or because this happened, and this is, I need this type of friend. You have to be upfront about your expectations. And that's even with relationships. And I don't really think just your regular friendship with your friends is much different from the actual uh, the dynamic might change with a romantic relationship, but I think that the principles of friendship should also be the same principles in your marriage, that the person that you're marrying, you also have a friendship with that person, and the principles are the same: that trust, that loyalty, uh, consideration, and things like that for the other person. I think all of those should be at play in any relationship. I just think that the principles are the same, and I think that the foundation is very, very similar. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that and talk about, you know, your task force. Who's on your task force? Who are you in agreement with? And I can say that, for example, Deb, I consider Deb a friend of mine. And there's nothing she can do about it. And it's not a tit for tat type of a thing, like, well, you did this, well, let me do that. It's not that. And so I can say that I can truly say that I have, man, I have people that I can tap, and I'm so grateful. And, mom and I, we do our walking together. We've been losing us a little bit of weight, y'all, too. We do our walk. We have this little route that we do, and I truly enjoy the relationship that I have with my mother. And I'm grateful for it because we get to do so much together. We have the best conversations, we have the best prayers, and even my friendships. I'm so grateful for my friendships, those that are near here in Michigan, but there are also those relationships and those friendships that they're far, and they're in different states and whatever. But I just love those friendships and those connections that I have. And my goal is to honor every connection that I have. My goal is to honor every friendship that I have in whatever way that God will allow me to, so that I can be a better friend. Because because I want to be married myself to the right person, but I want to be the friend that he needs. I want to be the resource that he can tap. And I have to practice that now in the relationships that I have, so that when that time comes, then I am exactly what I need to be in that relationship, right? So I just feel like if we get to practice in regular uh, friendships, then I think that we're preparing ourselves for the bigger relationship, the better relationship. And so yeah, so that's very important to me. And I just want to shout out my cousins, Takessa, Ayana, Erica, Bria, Candace, and also Brittany. All of my cousins, my girl cousins, because that support me and who I love, and they're my resources. You know, they're who I can call on for and have called on for a number of things. And so I love y'all too. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Let's try to be the friend that we need. How about that? How about we try to be the friend that we need? What if we become the resource that we also might want to be able to tap one day. Like, I am the friend that I need. I am the person, I am the friend that I need. I am the person that someone else can tap me as a resource. I am the person that someone can trust. I am the person that someone can rely on, someone can love. So, how about we be the friends that we need? Man, I think I said something. Takesa said, that's the word today. That's good. Be the friend we need. Amen. Because I think that if we be the friend that we need, I don't think we will lose. I think that if we become the friends that we need, we'll always get what we need and we'll always have what we need because we are what we're asking for. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. But thank you for bearing with me for this past hour. I really appreciate everyone who tunes in to the Spots We Miss, who supports us. I don't care if you like a post. I don't care if you share a post. Whatever you do to support us, support me. I am so grateful and I'm so thankful. And I thank you guys for just tuning in, just to hear me talk and share some of the things that God places on my heart. And I just pray that I'm a good friend to anybody who counts me as a friend. And I just want to be a better friend if I can. All right, guys. I love y'all. And we will be back next week. Like I told you guys, as long as God allows me to be here, I'm going to be here. All right. So these are the Spots We Miss. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Appreciate you.
You are tuned in.
Way to go. So, if you have the ability to find a good support group, find even one person that you trust, tell them what you need, tell them what you need help with, tell them how you're feeling, and you'd be surprised. They might